I wasn't gonna make this video. I really wasn't. And I wasn't gonna make it because I was feeling like I had to make it. And if I felt like I had to make it in this time, when so much is going on, I didn't want to. I was like, you're not gonna make this because you feel like you need to. You don't owe anyone that, and you don't have to do that. And so I wasn't gonna make it. And then I finally had started watching videos from authortubers and from Black authortubers and booktubers that were talking about their experiences, and then I wanted to. And some of these videos had come out 3 days ago, and I had seen them, and they were, Black booktubers I had met and I really respected, but I couldn't watch their videos yet. I think I wasn't quite ready to dive into that and dive into their experiences and get emotional about it. And so it took me a few days to actually start watching them. But as I was watching them, that's when I stopped feeling like I had to make a video and started feeling like I wanted to make a video. And so that's why I have this video. In my writing vlog, the one I posted, it'll be yesterday. I did talk a bit about this at the very end, but I think I wanted to talk a little bit more compactly about what my experience has been like on Authortube. And also because I have a weird affect. Just sometimes I do stuff like this where I'll smile and I'll look whatever and happy because I have a weird affect when it comes to talking about things that are uncomfortable for me or vulnerable for me, and I'll do stuff like that. Maybe it's not a weird affect, maybe it's just not typical, but anyway, that's how I am with that. But I think everything that's going on right now is again kind of bringing to the forefront those thoughts of when you are Black, you are not safe. So many things can happen to you. And even though I live in Canada, police brutality still exists here. I still never want to be pulled over by police. Once, because of something that was happening in my house, we did have to call police, and I hated it the whole time. I sat there on the couch with my mom and my little sister, who at the time was even younger, and I was scared the whole time that this was gonna turn around on us. And because that's just how I think about interactions with police, I'm at any time this can turn around on us. We called them to help us with something. Someone was having a mental health issue. Anyway, I won't get too into it, but we'd call them to help us, and I knew at any time that could turn around on us. And the only thing that had made me feel more comfortable was the fact that my stepdad is white, and I knew he was there, and I just thought they could never get away with it because he's here. If he wasn't there, I think I would have thought they could have shot us all and gotten away with it. And that's in Canada, where people don't really talk about police brutality, but it still happens. 5 police officers went in for a mental health call for a Black woman in Toronto, and she ended up falling off a balcony to her death. And how did that happen? Maybe they didn't push her, but the fact of the matter is that situation was escalated in a way that you wonder, would it have been like that if they weren't there, if there were better professionals that could be called, or if she had not been Black. And that's kind of how it is existing. I'm gonna link all the booktubers, the Black booktubers and authortubers that talked about this, because they have really articulate and amazing things to say. I don't want to say articulate, Black people being articulate, but they've put their words together really well, and they've talked about their experiences, and that's really important. And I'm filmed this before, but I'm doing it again because I don't think I had my thoughts together very well. But Being Black on AuthorTube, when I went to join AuthorTube, I was intimidated because it was like doing videos and I hadn't done that yet. And that was part of it. And when I joined, something that I had thought was, oh, I hope I don't get a bunch of racist comments for being Black in a majority white space. That was something that I worried about when I joined, about getting racist comments. I commented on someone else's, another AuthorTubers video, and it was just like they were offering some advice and I was basically agreeing with them. And someone decided to pop in and basically be like, who the fuck are you? Oh, you agree? What do you know with your like 40 views on your videos and your like 20 subscribers, I think is how many I had at the time. And I remembered it was hurtful. It was a hurtful comment, but I also remembered thinking, why me? Why, out of everyone in those comments who was agreeing, why did you decide to come after me? And my first thought was, oh, because I'm Black in my avatar and you can see that I'm Black. And I think in the past, like so many people, like I can see so many people being like, oh, well, why are you making it a race thing? And you don't know that it was because you're Black. And believe Black people when they say this is probably happening because I'm Black. Because when it happens to you all the time, you get a feel for it and you know what it is. Like, you know when you're being discriminated against. And that's just like, and that comment always comes from people that have never been discriminated against on the basis of race. But you know that's what it is. And that was an experience I had. And then just like in general, existing on AuthorTube, I told myself, I was like, don't get caught up in subscriber count because yours will always be lower. And that's just the way it is. And yours will always be lower because you're Black. And that was always a thought I had, especially, as I interacted with Black booktubers who are going through the same thing. If you're at any part of booktube, you know that, the large booktubers are by and large white. And I was at a conference where someone had said, at some point we're going to have to talk about this in AuthorTube. And I nodded to them and I was like, yeah, but in my head, I went, no, but never. I really genuinely felt that this would never be a topic discussed on AuthorTube because it would require people to check their privilege. And in my life, I have lived and people have never wanted to do that. People have pushed against that. Even people who profess themselves to be liberal, what is that in the US? Democratic or like left-leaning, have also pushed against that. And so I really felt that this was never a conversation that would come up. I never thought I would be making a video like this because the weight of doing this is so much. Even as I'm like filming this, I know I'll put this up and I'll be like, great, I'll have to like filter through in case I get whatever racist comments. And so I really didn't think this was anything I would ever be talking about, but I'm talking about it now because it's important to discuss this, I think, in every community that you're in, because systemic racism does not stop at the killing of Black people. It is way more insidious than that. It leaks into every single community. It leaks into every single thing that happens, I've had people casually touch my hair, people in positions of power in workplaces where I couldn't say anything because suddenly my job would be on the line. And I knew that, even though it was like, don't invade my personal space. It goes to, just not including Black people. It leaks into every single community. If you looked at that publishing paid me hashtag, seeing that Black authors were being paid significantly less in advances than their peers at the same houses with similar books at similar times. It's seeing that New York Times bestseller list breakdown and showing that people that hit the list are overwhelmingly white. It leaks into every single community, and I think it's important to discuss it in all those communities so that people can start trying to change things. There have been a number of white author-tubers who have made videos talking about Black Lives Matter. That's been really appreciated to me because, quite honestly, every community has shown they don't want to hear, for whatever reason they don't want to hear our voices. And that's why allyship is important, because quite frankly, white voices in white spaces have more power than Black voices in those same spaces. And so hearing those people speak out can really shift the tide for the community, can really be important. And quite honestly, Black people have been speaking for so long and doing that work for so long. It's important to have that help, quite honestly, and to be able to step back and stop being the one educating everyone and have someone else do that. But I wanted to talk about this because I had my own feelings. But really, I hope people work to be more inclusive at all times. All Black lives, not just Black cishet lives, Black trans lives, Black queer lives, and become more inclusive, because I've been on Authortube. I've seen panels that have 5-6 people and they're all white. I've seen people that have done, a bunch of live streams and have never once had a person of color on their streams. Even though those people have existed in the community, because sometimes I hear this excuse of like, oh, well, I don't know, but they're there. And they've always been there. Like Tamara Woods has been on Authortube for like 8 years or something like that. There are other Authortubers that have been on here for a while as well, or even new ones that pop up. I just think like, if you want to be for inclusion, making those changes can really make a difference. And that is not to say that I want to suddenly be flooded with requests, because that's its own thing. Like, I'm not the only Black person on Authortube. There are a lot more. And I think if you are subscribing to all these new Authortubers, don't just subscribe and leave it. Like, interact with their content, because the problem has never been lack of quality content. And I think that's really all I have to say about this. And yeah, I guess thinking that I was never going to make a video like this because there was never going to be a space that felt safe enough for me to make a video like this, and that I've been able to, I think shows some change, and that's important. And I hope we keep seeing more and more and more change.